Hi, it's the Rawesome Vegan Gal here, and today is part 2 of the previous video, which was on the seeds from Foods Alive, but it's actually part 13 of all the videos I've done for them. I don't know if there's more, but anyway, so today is actually to show you, or to actually talk to you about the recipe I made, because I already made it, and I'll tell you why. So I ended up using all 3 of the seeds that I mentioned in the last video, which were the sesame seeds, the sunflower seeds, and the pumpkin seeds. And again, I will have a link below this video to their website, so you can check out all that they offer. And they have lots of different products. So what I made was what I call my multi-seed cheese. So let's get seedy and cheesy, right? Whichever one you want to do. So the way I did this, I'll just tell you a little bit about it, and then I'll show you the results and some other information. So what I did was I soaked 3 ounces of pumpkin seeds, 3 ounces of sesame seeds, and 2 ounces of sunflower. You can do less. And I did it in the container that I actually made the cheese, and I did it overnight. But probably next time I would use less, and I'll tell you why. The other things I used, once I did that, so then I put it in my, I used this container to blend it, and what I did was I first put lemon juice. I put a whole lemon. You could use more. And I used my personal blender here that I have. It's a smaller blender like I used last time to make something. And then I always put in the liquid in first, the lemon juice, because you want to have, because in this little blender, personal blender, you can't put as much, so I actually ended up having to take some out and reblend it because the motor is not as powerful. So after I put the lemon juice, I put in some miso, and I'll show you the miso that I used. So this is from Miso Master. It's their organic chickpea miso. If you don't want to have any soy, this is the one that's soy-free. And I'll have also a link below to some of the other products, if I've used them, to mention. And also I used some dulse powder and also some fresh chives. I didn't bring that out, but you can buy fresh chives in the store. Figured to be a nice flavor. So the miso is what's going to help it ferment because it has those cultures in them. So what I did was I blended it, like I said, in here. First I started with the lemon, the miso, and then I added a little bit of nuts at a time and started to blend it. And then what I had to do is I had to add water. I prefer not to use water, but I did for this time. I would have used more lemon juice, so it would have been tangier, but that's okay. And then, like I said, I found that I put too much in the container at once, so I had to pour some out into a bowl, and then I blended some and then put it in the container that I made the cheese in. So with that, I also used parchment paper between the container and the cover, and I left it out. But the reason why I'm going to leave it out is because you want heat, you want warmth to cook it, so to speak, to ferment it. But what I made the mistake of is I put too much in the container because it's an or Pyrex, or like a glass. It's not a Pyrex, but it's a glass bowl. I put too much in close to the top. I should have left more breathing room, so to speak, because when it ferments, it actually expands. So that's one thing. So you might want to use either a bigger, you have a bigger bowl, which I don't have with a cover, so that's the one I had to use. And then you should put something underneath it, which I didn't. I just had a paper towel. So what it was on top of, I had to wash and everything smelled. I smelled it in the morning because I just fermented it overnight, and it's literally like, I think it's done. I could smell it. So it could go longer. It depends on the weather where you live. And you might want to taste it, like if you put it in and then it's fermenting like overnight, the next day you may want to taste it, see if it tastes to your standards or if you want more. And then you don't want to get mold on it. Now when you're blending it, the other key is you don't want it to be too watery and soupy. You want it to be more cheesy, more thicker, or like it could be like a spread, a cheese spread, but if you want it really thicker, then you might want to use a more high-power blender that you could use less water. So always be opt on the side of as little water as you can use, or little liquid, to keep it thicker. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. Yeah, and then I added the chives at the end before I fermented it. I put that in the bowl. I didn't fill up the bowl completely. I wanted to add that in first to see how much it expands, and then I did that. So now I will show you the end results. So now I actually have it on a plate, and here is the cover, and here is the parchment paper, which got quite wet, and here is the cheese. So it filled up. It was a little bit low here, but it kind of came up. And it smells really good. So now I have it on a plate. I could have probably fermented it longer, but I decided to just leave it like that. So what can you do with this now? It's, again, the sky's the limit how you want to use it. You can use it on crackers. I'm going to try some actually on the Foods Alive Flax crackers with their other seeds, so that'll be nice. You can also put it on in a wrap, whether it's a nori wrap, a coconut wrap, a lettuce wrap, like a butter lettuce, or even a cabbage wrap, on a rice cake. I'm trying to think what else, on a tortilla wrap with sprouts or something. So the idea of what you can do with it are endless. The other thing is, if you cook like a simple grain, like a quinoa or something, you want to put it on for flavor, or on pasta. So let's say it goes well with just about anything. You can eat it right there off the spoon. It's actually really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these Foods Alive. This is their original flax crackers. They have other flavors, but I figured the basic one is better because the other ones would be much more flavorful, and I don't really need that because I'm getting that with the cheese. So I'm just going to break off a small piece here. You could also make it as a sandwich with the 2 crackers, or if you eat bread, with bread in between it. And I'm going to take some here. First I will taste it actually without the cracker. Oh yeah, it's definitely fermented. I can taste it, wow. And as far as how much miso I used probably maybe almost a heaping tablespoon. So it fermented really quick. That's really good. Has a really nice, nice flavor, and the chives add to it as well. So I guess I'll be enjoying this for a while. I don't mind. It tastes really good. So hopefully you'll go and try the recipe like this. It's really interesting to do that. And even though I used pumpkin seeds, it didn't turn green. It stayed pretty white as far as the color goes, because I had also the sesame seeds and the sunflower seeds. So definitely check out products from Foods Alive and the seeds that I've reviewed, and hopefully you'll try this recipe and see how it works for you. And I thank you for watching. It's the Rawesome Vegan Gal.